Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and our buddy Max over there behind the glass for a special episode of Beyond the Tank, which I think is actually a couple weeks overdue, Brandon. We should have done this.
No, it's true. It's true. This is my fault. I've been a little busy. But in my defense, we have had a lot of things happen recently.
Yep.
And we kind of we just want to give the people a taste of what's going on, what's to come, the evolution of Geek Tank Radio into multiple shows. I'm basically rebuilding the Geek Tank Radio network that we had back in what was that? 2016, 2017?
Back in the day, we used to put out like 2 hours of Geek Tank every week.
I hate to tell you this, Joe. Going through the archives, some of those episodes on KISS are almost 4.5 hours long.
Yeah. Well,
but they consisted of 7 to 10 topics that had their own standalone segments. Some of those segments were fairly short. Some of them were 20 to 30 minutes.
Well, and as we speak, we've entered into we've already done 11 years of Geek Tank, so we are now entering into the 12th year of Geek Tank Radio. That's how do we do that, Brian?
I don't know, but this is, if I remember correctly, the 12th Doctor was the Angry Doctor, so this might be the Angry Geek Tank.
And I'm wondering if you really look back, because one of the nice things you've been doing is posting archive episodes. Boy, the world of geekdom has sure changed in 12 years.
I mean, I've got a playlist up right now, and I've still got so many of the old, the original Geek Tank Radio, and then the purple years of Geek Tank Radio. I'm not going to name the stations and studios we were with at the time, because if you want to know where they were at, they're in the opening of the show.
It's neat, though, that it changes every few years, so there's always a new texture.
Right.
So, and now we're entering really into a new series.
We are finishing out our dozen years.
Yeah.
And when we get to year 13, it's going to be the baker's year. It's going to be all about bread.
Okay. Hey, let's acknowledge this first, though. Your people are probably like, well, where did Alan go?
Where did Alan go?
Our buddy Alan Gilbert has gone on to bigger and better things.
I won't say that they're bigger things. They are definitely better things, because he's got this creative vibe. He's always had that thing where he's like looking for the next adventure in life.
Yeah. And
Alan's always been big on computer programming and everything like that. He used to be a tech professor. I don't even.
He was
remember.
like a college professor teaching
back when computers were the size of the wall.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true.
He's way too smart for Geek Tank.
He's way too smart for half the things he does. You kind of look at him and go, I thought you were smart.
Yeah.
But I think one of the coolest things about Alan is that if there is an opportunity to do something new and exciting, he grabs a hold of it. He doesn't let it pass him by.
Yeah.
And he's been working with a handful of people on this algorithm and this computer logistics program, which has led to the laundry logistics, which Alan worked in healthcare for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest headaches is keeping up with your linens and your bed sheets and various things. If you or uniforms even, you send them out to be laundered, they come back and you're like missing half your stuff.
Yeah, it's like a tracking system for clothes and fabrics, sheets, and like, okay, that sounds really boring, but honestly, it sounds like brilliant too. It's a fundamental need, and he said, okay, I'm going to invent an app for this.
And that's the thing is he
could be the next millionaire.
I mean, he could. He's been dealing with that stuff for so long, and of course, he's I haven't seen Alan this giddy between this and Alan Spices.
Yeah,
he is like, I mean, it's like it's taken 20 years off his life. He has more energy than me right now with the way he runs back and forth and he's doing all these things, and honestly, as much as and he still tells me he loves the idea of doing radio, but right now he's got to put that focus into launching he launched his Spice line back in November. He is launching this, and this is a big undertaking. So Alan may
he's-
come back at some point. He may, stop in every once in a while to talk, chit chat with us. But for the most part, this is his focus, and I am so proud of him right now.
Yeah. No,
'Cause,
I mean,
again, I got to play with the back end of the website and the administration stuff, and I was seeing all the stuff he could do. And all of a sudden, my brain started clicking on other things he could use this for.
well, this is just one use of the app. I mean, this could be game changing.
It could be game changing, and so, guys, as much as we all miss him, Alan is doing some amazing work right now, and if you miss him as much as we do, show him some love. He's on Saturdays. He is still going to be out at the Painted Tree, booth C1, where he has Alan Spices.
Yeah.
Go out, tell him how much you loved listening to him on the radio, whether it be from Geek Tank, Tool Talk, or any of the various other things he was doing out here at the studios.
So,
But-
but we wanted to mention that because we've been behind on mentioning that.
And it's like I know that we've gotten responses saying, "Hey, wait a second, somebody's missing."
Yeah, the smart guy.
The smart guy.
But Brandon, okay, but Geek Tank, okay, well, we're no slouches either. We've been doing actually, you and I generally would spearhead the content of Geek Tank
It's
anyway,
true.
but we've both agreed that we need to put the pedal down and get back to what we used to do. We used to do some really fun content. I still miss Dr. Judge Mentor. Maybe he's out there lingering somewhere, and we could get him back.
Here's what's great is that while I'm sitting there going through all the old footage and getting it prepared for adding to our YouTube channel, I have been coming across things that stood out, whether it be in our original format where Dr. Judge Mentor would come in and basically hit us with the newest geek diagnoses,
right,
and the cures for them, which usually was take this drug and go sit in a corner and shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a nice guy, but
no, he was kind of a jerk,
but he was efficient.
Funny. Yeah.
He was efficient.
Yeah,
I think Alan still has some of those nanobots in him.
Yeah,
but in doing things like that, or the random roundup where everybody would bring in a news story and we'd spend a few minutes on each of them, or Locked and Loaded, where it's like we just hit you with the headlines for you to look up. And we will be launching a new show on the podcast channel, our YouTube channel, called the Geek Tank Unleashed. Now,
there we go.
Now, GTR Unleashed was originally set up during one of our things, and it never really went anywhere. But now we're going to take all those fun, weird, and crazy things that we used to do, and we're going to put them on Geek Tank Unleashed. And they will be, as they come out, they will be made available via our Facebook page and our various social media stuff.
Yeah.
And, you can subscribe to our YouTube RSS feed or just like us on YouTube and follow us there, and, you'll be able to get those episodes as soon as they come up. We want to go back to doing, this is a Beyond the Tank, but it probably would have fit better in a new thing that I plan to launch later this summer called Geek Tank The Mainstream, which is I think it's actually going to be GTR Presents The Mainstream. And this is about real world news and events that will affect us as geeks.
Right.
Whether it be if I'd started it earlier, we would have talked about IKEA leaving Memphis, because there's a lot of us that got our cases for our figures and our collectibles and everything, the DTOF cases at IKEA. We're going to have to order those now, and they get on back order a lot.
I didn't know they were leaving.
Yeah.
It's a huge...
May 3rd is the last, is their last day, and many of us have already put in the request that it needs to be turned into a city-based venue.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would benefit, but
there we go. That could be our new convention center.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I figure this first year it's going to be a giant Spirit Halloween.
Okay.
But we would talk about things like that on the mainstream. There's a lot of... I know that we try to stay as far from politics as we can on Geek Tank Radio, but every so often something's going to happen that's going to affect us. That's the channel where you would find it.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not interested in that.
I mean,
but then again, sometimes something happens where...
There's a certain interview that I want to do that I'm trying to set up that would be the first episode of that, and I'm hoping it happens, guys, because it is a fair and balanced interview, because I'm just going to let the guy talk.
Okay.
Nobody else does.
All right.
But that's the mainstream. Beyond the Tank, which is where we are now, has always been during our first formative podcast years, Beyond the Tank was set up so that we could go in depth, deep dives into certain things, and that's what it's going to be again. Like if Max decides he wants to completely just go through and find all the matching themes in every Kurosawa film, or if Joe wants to talk about what's going on with the Cubs and stuff like that.
Listeners will love that.
I hate to tell you this, guys, but nobody's geekier than sports fanatics. It's just true.
One of the fun things we did in one of our archived episodes is you debated, because we wanted to answer the question, who are the bigger geeks, sports geeks or science fiction and superhero geeks?
Yeah.
And so we basically put you up against one of the most hardcore Cubs fans out there, Crawley, and he answered trivia questions and you answered trivia questions. And then we also analyzed which of you were more passionate about it. And we determined that sports geeks, scientifically speaking, are way more hardcore than anybody. So
if you've ever been a part of a fantasy sports league, you make the biggest D&D nerd cringe in your geekiness.
And not only that too, but just because they used to beat up all the nerdy people and everything that were good at math and everything, they actually are pretty good at math, because think of all the stats they could rattle off.
That's
RBIs and
that's true. Yeah, you got to know stats and math.
And and who knows? Maybe if there's enough people out there, we can create a fantasy geek sports league that has to do with more fictional stuff. I mean, there's the opportunities to go with Beyond the Tank and Unleashed are going to be just fun.
I like the idea of discussing theoreticals too, because I used to have a club back in high school that I headed called Theoretical History and stuff like that. I like the idea of discussing theoreticals, like who would win in a whatever scenario.
Well, that's true.
And
it's like, okay, Brandon, hold on. This would be good. So we could take a sport like football or baseball, and then you make your dream team fictional character. Like I'm thinking, okay, well, Wolverine, that's great that he can heal, but what good does that do him as a basketball player or something, because he's short? So like you can put together your best, going through all of their dynamics.
And I mean, Wolverine's going to play hockey. That's the only sport he's really good for.
Yeah.
He's Canadian.
Right.
Now the big question is another thing that I like about theoreticals is how do you regulate sports with people who are supernatural?
What do you do with the Flash? Can he steal bases?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and it's prevalent in the old Claremont X-Men days. Claremont and Byrne every so often would have an issue of the X-Men where they played basketball or they played